Okay, this episode is just a must listen to. I'm just going to say it. I give Kerry's formal intro during the interview. You'll get that. This kind of pre-recording, pre-podcast recording is to tell you need to listen. Your thoughts have way more power over your body than what you give them credit for. And there is truth to what you put your attention on will manifest. We've been hearing this for years through The Secret, Joe Dispenza, who I love, but there's truth in it. Think of how many times you have said something on the whim, right? You said, I could much rather deal with, an alcoholic than a drug addict. And then an alcoholic comes into your life. How many times have you said, I can't do this. I can't do that. And then you don't, because you've already set it up in your mind that you can't. Or your doctor is telling you, this is part of getting older. You're getting older and you're going to have to accept how you feel. And then you accept it. And you literally fall into whatever thought pattern is going on in your life. I am telling you need to listen to this, because it doesn't matter how many medications, supplements, dietary changes that we put on you. If you have that subconscious belief that you are not going to get better, you know what? You won't. You won't. You won't. But if you believe that you will, then you will. You will. You will. And you'll change your life, and you will change the trajectory. Just listen to Kerry and listen to the stories of the women that have attended her Believe event that we're going to tell you about in this episode.
So this is going to be a game changer for you, and you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. The latest introduction, the latest member of the family to the Fixer line is Metabolism Fixer. And this, oh my God, I formulated this just for all my people out there that need to lose weight, that need help in the weight loss department, that can't lose weight no matter what they do, that feel like they have a slow metabolism, and that might be thinking of trying all those peptides out there, the Beverly Hills soccer mom drug of choice for weight loss peptides. Or even if you're on them already and you're like, man, these are really expensive and I'm still not losing weight, add in Metabolism Fixer. Here's what I did. I took the power of T2, which increases your basal metabolic rate while you are sitting there watching Netflix. You're burning fat while you're watching Netflix. I combined it with a very unique patented ingredient called Suppressa. Suppressa has multiple clinical trials backing its efficacy in reducing your appetite, decreasing snacking, and providing way more control over your food intake. It is amazing. We also see improved emotional well-being, just decreased food cravings all around, reduced hunger, and weight management. Add on top of that, we have green tea extract, we have purple forest purple tea extract, both of which affect the metabolism in a very positive way without the jitters of normal fat burning supplements out there from the 1980s and 90s, right? The ones that made you feel like you're having a heart attack. You will not have that in any of my supplements, Thyroid Fixer or Metabolism Fixer. But Metabolism Fixer, we kicked it up a notch. It is in powder form, so you can drink it through your day. It's going to flavor your water. We got Orange Crush and Refreshing Citrus. I love them both. It is going to keep you under control all day long. So you throw a couple scoops in your water bottle in the morning, throw a scoop or two in your water bottle throughout the day. You will have fat burning and appetite control the entire day for what? An eighth of a price of the peptides? Oh my God, you can't go wrong. So grab some Metabolism Fixer today. Please let me know how you do on it. I am super excited for you. Super excited.
Women doubling their income, improving their relationships, improving their marriages, improving their health. So this is a must listen to, and a must share with your friends who are walking around with the same attitude and who are also stuck in this negative way of thinking. time to break out of it. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I have a very special guest. She is just, I don't even know how to start, just amazing. She is going to just light up your world with everything that we are talking about today. Let me give you her formal intro, and then we'll get into actual talking and letting you get to know her. So, Kerry Tepedino is a global leader in women's personal development, focusing on mindset mastery, emotional intelligence, and self-love, which we all need. She supports women in challenging their self-defeating behaviors and overcoming past traumas and fears to create a life of true happiness rooted in self-love. Her Perfect Health Mastery Awaken and Discover Your Sacred Self programs have supported thousands of women on up-leveling their lives in all areas, including physical, mental, and emotional health, relationships, professional careers, finances, and more. So needed by so many women. Kerry, thank you for coming on.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have so much fun. I'm so excited to be here. And I know how powerful you are and how much how much your community means to you. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for trusting me to be here with you and with them. And I'm here to give you everything I've got. I'm very excited.
Well, I appreciate your time and for coming on. And this is an area that is so needed that I obviously don't have the expertise in to be able to give to my listeners and to my audience and even to my patients. Mm-hmm. This is an area that many women struggle with. And I even see it in my practice, these self-defeating behaviors hijacking someone's success in my program. And sometimes it does come down to the mental. Do you see that as well in terms of health?
Oh yeah, I see it all the time. And in regards to health, so we got to remember the mind-body connection. Like that's not a woo-woo conversation, right? Like there's a lot of data around that and a lot of research around that. And so really remembering that as human beings, we're not just one dimensional. You know, there's the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of ourselves. And every single one of those is impacting and influencing the next piece. So your thoughts, what you're thinking, your thoughts are directly impacting your emotions, how you emote. How you're emoting is directly impacting your thoughts. We could go round and round and that forever. But then they're also impacting the actions that you take. And then those repetitive, consistent daily actions become your habits. Your daily habits become your results. And so even if our friends here looked around, like, unless you're driving, don't do this. But if you just looked around the room that you're sitting in right now, all of that started first in the way that you think. And since this is, you know, since Amy, you're a doctor and you have patients, let's even bring this to the health aspect. If we all look down at our physical bodies, and what is the state of our physical body? Are we fit? Are we strong? Do we have good balance? Are we overweight? Are we dealing with health issues that could be, that we could support maybe through nutrition and fitness? But even how our physical body, when we look down, that first also started in the way that we think, right? Either we can or we can't, but whatever you put your focus on, you're going to be right. And so I just think that this conversation is so critical to anybody who wants to be happy and healthy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That was so beautifully said. And we're going to dive more into that. But I want to hear your story. How did you come into this space? Everyone has usually a pain to purpose story. So what is your story?
Yeah, so I have a few stories, but the big story that led me here is that I didn't believe in myself. My confidence was off kilter. And for me, the way that showed up was through an eating disorder. And so this is a few decades ago, but I'm sure many of our friends here who are women can relate to this. Yep. And, we all have a vice. My vice was food, and I was an emotional eater. I think when I was bored, lonely, sad, anxious, stressed, you name it, I would eat. And for me, I remember there was it was before I had this business, and I worked in the corporate world as a graphic designer. And I had gotten back from the Peace Corps, moved back to the States. I was working as a graphic designer in the corporate world in a software startup company. And I had this big deadline at work and the next day, and I was super stressed. And I remember driving home. I can even feel it, Amy, like my hands are on the wheel and I'm driving. I can still see it. I'm driving home on the freeway and I'm telling myself, don't stop at the store, Kerry. Don't stop at the store, Kerry. Because I know the way I deal with stress is I eat it. And I get to my neighborhood, and where do I find myself? In front of the store, right? And I go into the store and I have my cart and I'm going up and down the aisle, and all the time I'm putting my comfort foods in my cart, and I'm saying, this time it's going to be different. This time it's going to be different. And I had this conversation that I've had with myself 1,000 times before. And I pay for my groceries, take them home, and I'm unpacking the groceries. And by this time I'm truly am hungry. It's dinner time, past dinner time. And I come to the peanut butter jar and I unscrew that blue lid and I peel back that silver foil, right? I get my, I'm just going to have one spoonful, just one. And one becomes two becomes three. And, as soon as my spoon hits the bottom of that jar, my heart breaks. Mm-hmm. Not because I just ate all that peanut butter, but because once again, I had broken trust in myself, and for me, I was also a bulimic at the time. And so I go down, I can still feel my feet going into the plush carpet down the hall to the bathroom. And I try to purge it up, which never works. And I was laying there crying on my cold white tile floor. And in that moment, I got scared, Amy, because it hit me differently that night. And what happened that night was my heart was racing. And I knew enough about health to know that my electrolytes were imbalanced, and that was affecting my cardiovascular system. Mm. And I have a direct experience. One of my good friends from college, her mom had died of an eating disorder because her organs failed. And so it just really hit home that night, and I got scared. And I knew in that moment that it was a defining moment. I had a decision, like, keep doing what you're doing, and you truly are slowly killing yourself. Like, that was the first time I really got it. Or pick yourself up and turn this around and heal your life. And that set me off on a amazing journey. I traveled the world. I studied with monks. I studied in India under an Ayurvedic doctor, 12 hours a day for a month straight. He downloaded to me all he knew about Ayurveda. Like, it just launched this huge new journey. And through that journey, I naturally, without dieting, without restricting, calorie counting, I lost 50 pounds. I found myself. I built my confidence up. I started to love myself no matter what, extra weight, scars, moles, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I felt, and I don't know about you, but for me, like, I felt like I finally cracked the code. And I felt a responsibility. Like, now that I know how to get out of it, I feel like I should help any woman get up off that bathroom floor, because she doesn't need to be there. And truly, the business birthed itself, because it's exactly what I needed when I couldn't find it when I needed it. And here we are, a couple of decades later, and it's like, it just lights me up to be able to do this work in the world.
Oh my goodness, that is so powerful. I mean, how many women out there right now did you just connect with the peanut butter story? Because right. I've been there. I have gotten halfway through in a day and literally had to fill it up with garbage, because I knew if I threw the jar in the garbage, I would go dig it out and continue eating. So I would have to fill it with coffee grinds. And then how many struggle with eating disorders that are too ashamed to talk about and too ashamed to discuss with even their doctor of how they're feeling, and maybe that they have landed on the bathroom floor with a racing heart and made it through, and are still here to talk about it, but they really need to reach out for help and need guidance in this whole journey.
Right. And I would say to our friends that are here today that it's not even, let's start with this mindset conversation, right? This tweak, because I know when you're in that place, it's humbling. It's hard sometimes to receive support, to raise your hand, ask for support, and then receive it. And instead of feeling like you need to do this, like I need to do this to be fixed, or I need to do this because I'm broken, I need to turn this around because fill in the blank, whatever the childhood story is, right? What I'm going to shift is that word. It's like, you get to heal, and you're blessed. Even if we switch out the get word with blessed, you're blessed that you get to heal. You're blessed that you even landed on this podcast right now. It's no mistake. Right? It's no mistake. And I truly believe like everything's falling into place for us. So our friends who are here, like, you're here because this is an answer to your prayer, or you're here because you've been searching for a solution, and maybe you're going to get one little nugget that shifts something for you from this interview. Or maybe you didn't even realize that this was an issue for you, but now that you're listening, you're like, oh my God, I do that too. I do that too. I just didn't realize it, right? And so trust that you're here with Dr. Amy. You're here with her. You're with me. We're friends. You're here with us for a reason, is what I would want to tell our friends here.
That's so true. And sometimes it is divine intervention that leads people to listen to a specific podcast, a specific episode, and it changes their direction just like that. 1 hour. Yeah.
It doesn't take much, right? It's like these nuggets are happening, right? But oftentimes we're so busy and we're so caught up in getting through our to-do list, or proving ourselves for external validation, or whatever that is, that we stay in the noisy bit, the busyness. Busyness itself is a vice. Right? Because it's an instant gratification where you feel like you're getting something accomplished. But really, if you were to sit and go quiet, you'd realize like the busyness of getting all these things accomplished on your to-do list are not really moving you forward into the life you really want. The health, the wealth, the love, the whatever's important to you.
That's very true. And that busyness can keep you stuck even in the same health situation that you're in. So a lot of people listening to this, they are obviously dealing with thyroid or hormone issues. So can you talk a little bit about what you have found in your practice dealing with people with health issues, and that underlying subconscious play set that keeps repeating and repeating and repeating? What do you find there, and where is that based in?
Yes, absolutely. So for everybody who's here, so this is a compliment to the work you're doing with Amy. So this isn't to replace, it actually goes together with it. And it's going to help her protocols become even more powerful and effective for you. Because what we started off with speaking about is that mind-body connection. That is a very real thing, right? And so what I would like to help shift is this mindset around what your body is capable of. So if we have thyroid issues, hormone issues, whatever that is, and I've had all that too, trust me. And whatever the situation is that our friends are working with, even so, let's do that. Let's break it down in an easy visual. So we have our mindset, and our mind is shooting off 60,000 thoughts a day, or take, right? And let's say we have trillions of cells in our body, and each and every one of those cells has its own little mind and its own little conversation. Well, the big brain in the mind is saying 60,000 thoughts, and all these trillions of cells are listening to it, and they're going to mold themselves to what they're repetitively hearing. So if they're hearing, you are broken, you are sick, you can't get better, if this is genetic, you might as well not even try, whatever it's hearing, then, and 60,000 times a day, give or take, well, of course they're going to mold themselves to those thoughts, because what we think becomes our reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's even like there's a ton of research in regards to the placebo effect. Sometimes people, you know, they do research where people they think they're getting a medicine and they're not, they're getting a placebo, but yet all of a sudden their diagnosis has been reversed. Well, how is that happening? It's happening because what they believe is going to happen to their body, what they believe is going to happen with the healing. And so when your mind, if you're having an inner toxic conversation that's constantly telling you that you're in body breakdown or your body has betrayed you or whatever that conversation is, then your body is going to respond to that. So if we switch that and we even say, okay, so I don't know all the ins and outs. Like, I don't know all the ins and outs that Dr. Amy knows in regards to how my body is going to heal, but I'm going to do the mindset work and the emotional work around it. And I'm going to do her protocol at the same time. I'm going to marry those two together. And I'm going to trust that even if I don't have the results that I want to have yet, I know they're on the way. And I'm going to be grateful that I now have the healing team around me to create those results. And you stay in gratitude for what is to come. Not like you're faking it or fake it till you make it. It's not that. It's that you're now thinking into the projection of the health that you want to create for yourself, right? So it's not like you can just sit on the couch and eat chips every night and want to lose weight. You get to have the vision and get to have the inspired action behind the vision. But the vision is starting in the way that you think. And so even watching your languaging, you know, what is the language that you use? How do you speak to yourself? How do you speak about your body? All of these things play a really important role in recovery, in healing, in all of it, right? In all of the conversation and the work that you're doing in the world, that I'm doing in the world. You know, what I would say a good place to start is for our friends to just ask themselves, what do I believe is possible for me? And if you don't believe that you can heal your thyroid, or you don't believe that your hormones can recalibrate, then I would get curious and interested. Don't blame yourself or get down on yourself. Let's just get curious and interested. Well, why do I believe that I'm too far gone, or I'm too old, or, you know, what, I've tried it all before, it doesn't work? And where is that story coming from? And what I would say is, you don't want to unpack your bags and live there. But what we want to do is we want to get curious and interested about where this is stemming from, so we can then turn it around. We can create a turnaround with it. Does that help, Amy?
Oh, completely. Okay. So thank you for that. Very clear explanation. And 2 comments on that. So you said the placebo effect. There's also the nocebo effect, right? Where we can, just like we use a placebo to have the same effect as a drug on the body, that nocebo effect we can actually kind of coax our body into a state of disease to produce something that wasn't actually there, but we believed it into existence.
Absolutely. The mind is our most powerful tool. And so really learning to leverage it, which most people on this planet aren't leveraging their mind the way that as much as they could. So with that being said, I know you have another point as well, but really quickly on this one, because I think it's important. Mm-hmm. So I'm the CEO and founder of the One Thought Away Project. And with the One Thought Away Project, we really do emphasize, you know, you're either one thought away from feeling sick today or not. You're one thought away from being happy today or not, right? And so really getting to the root of, well, what is that one thought? What are the thoughts that you keep focusing on? And if they're not the thoughts that with the results that you really want to have, then ask yourself, why am I more loyal to this thought of sickness, of disease, of body breakdown? Why am I more loyal to this thought versus the yes thought, the yes and, you know, yes, I can have it all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
so beautiful. I love that one thought away, because you're right. We can, with one thought, either brighten our day or destroy our day.
Yeah.
Because that one thought you are going to hyper focus on. And that leads me to my next comment. Kerry and I were at a beautiful mastermind retreat together where we did something called the passion test.
Mm.
And while doing this passion test, I won't get into it, but we had to use words that were, I want to say, like in the present, already happening. So when you're describing something that you want, and Kerry, you can let me know if you agree with this and use this too in your practice, but when you're describing something you want, use it as if it's going on right now.
Yeah.
Like mine was skiing or snowboarding every day that there's snow in Utah. Well, there's no snow right now. And I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get to Utah, but it's going to be soon. Colorado's going to come first, then Utah. But I did it in the immediate. I am snowboarding every day that there is snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I got to be careful about taking the passion test because every time I take it, I get pregnant. Because I realized like, oh my gosh, I want another baby. So I've only taken it twice. The first time I took it was a few years ago. And as you know, my twins are now 6 months old. And then I took it again at this last event that we were at together. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want another one. And I'm 48. I'm almost 50. So, but luckily my husband's like, yeah, let's keep going. So we have a 6-year-old as well. But I told him.
Glad to know it works.
It does work. I'm going to stop taking the passion test if we want to like stop having more kids. But yes, absolutely. So it's really putting yourself in the vision and not so you're not just visioning it and you want to speak into as if it's already happening. And then the other piece of it is feel as if it is already happening, right? Like feel as what is it going to feel like as you're snowboarding? Like you can feel the wind in your hair and your goggles are, like you can feel the goggles on your face and like you feel free and you feel happy and you feel connected because you're there with friends. And like when you feel into it like that, then you're breathing the opportunity of it becoming real. Right? Like that's what gets to happen because whatever you're thinking and feeling, your brain can't decipher between this is real or this is not real. Like whatever you're thinking, it just assumes it's real. Mm-hmm. So that's why we want to keep programming and then reprogramming, strengthening those neuroconnectors in the brain into like that snowboarding vision. Like we want to strengthen that connection in your brain, the neurons firing off that vision and you feeling that way. Because then you start to, without even really needing to, but you just even on a very unconscious level, like you start to be that woman who's going to be snowboarding every day in Utah. What would she be doing right now? Well, she'd probably be training. She'd probably be getting in shape so she can hit the runs hard. She'd probably be eating well. She'd probably be looking at like moving there or renting an Airbnb for the winter, whatever it is, right? Yep. But you start to become that woman, which is exciting.
Yep. I love it. I know.
It's so fun.
It's so much fun. I'm so glad to know that it works. Although I don't want babies, but just give me the snow. Just give me the snow.
Okay.
So you created, in addition to the One Thought Away, you created the Sacred Self System. So can you tell us more about that?
You bet. So it's a 5-step system. And part of it we've already started to talk about. So step 1 is mindset, because whatever you think is. Step 2 is emotional mastery. So this is the emotional intelligence piece. And so what this means is learning to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because when most people feel anger or fear or stress or whatever it is, if they don't have these skills in place, they tend to want to check out, numb out, or escape, right? Whatever that looks like. Alcohol, cigarettes. For me, it was food. Maybe it's social media now is a big one.
Yep.
Shopping online. Maybe for some people it's work, right? So the emotional mastery piece is really important. Like being able to be with your emotions no matter what and stay present to them. Now, step 3 is your relationship to yourself. How are you in relationship to yourself? Do you have daily self habits where you take care of yourself no matter what? Do you still think that it's selfish to do self-care? So relationship to self is step 3. because that's foundational to everything else. How you treat yourself is foundational to everything else. And then step 4 is becoming and staying present. So not checking out, escaping, or numbing out. And then step 5 is sustaining that transformation. So what we feel is, when you have these 5 things in place, you've now really started or have deepened and strengthened into a very strong foundation under your feet that isn't made on sand, but is made on rock. So no matter if what happens in politics or the economy or God forbid another pandemic or whatever's happening around you, that you can handle it, right? It doesn't have to take you off course. And when you have that piece in place, I think until we have our foundation of who we are and why are we who we are, until we have that piece, it's very hard. Like that I see as the launch pad. Like you have that piece and then it's easier to go then create the life that you want. But unless you have that foundation under your feet, it's hard to go create the life that you want because stress will hit. None of us escape life, no matter how rich, famous, skinny, beautiful, whatever you are, life happens. But if you have these skills, we really can look at, and then who do you get to be in the face of adversity or surprise or pandemic or whatever, right? Who do you get to be? And then when you have that belief and trust in yourself, you can create anything. I really believe you can create anything. I created 2 more babies at almost 50. You can create anything.
Anything
is possible.
Anything is possible. Exactly. And we are talking a lot about that internal dialogue that many of us have that will self-sabotage ourselves. So I want to really focus on that. And then you brought something up that kind of rang a bell in my head, the external circumstances. I can't tell you how many people that I have talked to, my patients, that are just, they go, well, but just the state of the world, and we don't know what's happening, and we don't know about politics, and we don't know about this V thing, and and I want to be like, but you have no control over that. So you are literally allowing the external circumstances that you have zero control. At least you have control of your thoughts. At least you have control whether or not you take a walk or do yoga today. Like that is in your control. You have zero control of what is going on outside here. And yet you are letting that rule your mind and your emotions and your mood and your health.
Yeah.
So let's start with the external, then we'll come back to the internal dialogue.
Yeah, good. And I'm glad you're passionate about this too. So like it's really taking that finger that we point outwards and turning it towards ourselves. And so what we say in our programs in our community is we get to be the source of everything. So we're the source of all the results that we're getting in our life right now. And we're the source of all the results we're not getting in our life. And a lot of people get kind of mad at me when I say that because it doesn't always feel good. Well, what do you mean I'm the reason why I'm overweight, or I'm the reason why my thyroid or hormones or fill in the blank, right? Like, what do you mean? But here's the thing. Once we can start to understand this concept that I get to be the source of everything, then it doesn't take your power away from you. It actually puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Because then you get to become empowered. Well, if I am the source of everything and I want to heal my health, then who do I get to be and what choices do I get to make from that position? Who do I get to stop blaming? Oh yeah, but I'm super stressed, so my poor little adrenals are run dry because of that divorce I had 30 years ago, or that bankruptcy, or because of that president who I didn't vote for, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is.
Yep.
And so when we stop pointing outwards, then we actually have a chance. We actually have a chance to have the life that we want. But until we take our power back, then we're at the whim of the world, right, Amy? It's like at the whim of the world. Like we may have a good day today, but as soon as boom, somebody says something or we don't get our way tomorrow, then we're back into a position, easily back into a position of feeling disempowered. Yep. So can we make other people do things? No, but what we can do is we can have the emotional mastery piece to manage how we feel about what they're doing, or the mindset mastery piece to manage how we're thinking about what they're doing, right? And we have all the control over that. So I have seen countless women. I've helped thousands of women over the past couple of decades, and I've seen countless women take their lives back and really like be living the life that they really want to live, because they're no longer a victim to circumstance or other people or anything like that. So there's a lot of power here. And also remembering you either have reasons or results, right? And reasons are it's just a really polite word for excuses. So reasons, the mind is going to create reasons on why you don't have the results you want right now. It's going to sound super logical. Well, you can't create that result because your husband didn't A, B, and C today, or because your kids were fighting, or you couldn't take your thyroid. You couldn't work on your thyroid and balancing your hormones, even with the protocol that Dr. Amy gave me, because I just ran out of time. Like, I didn't realize that my kid was gonna get called in. Like, I was gonna have to pick up my kid from school because he got sick. And we're gonna create a lot of logical reasons why we can't follow through and why we don't have the result that we want. But really, they're just excuses. So if you start to follow the sacred self system, you put yourself into a place of empowerment, really. And from there, I honestly believe anything is possible, because we do have control over how we feel and how we think.
I love that. I think that there's a quote card right there. You either have, what is it? Reasons or results.
Reasons or results.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Quote card.
There's a quote card for my social media manager who's listening. Quote card.
I love it.
That's what we want to post everywhere, because it's just so true. It just kind of slaps people in the face and you go, oh yeah, that's right. And so many people make excuses. We do have mindset coaching worked into my program. Cool. And every one of my patients gets one mindset call. Now, I would still encourage them to dive into yours, because one usually isn't enough. Everything that you're talking about, man, you can really just change your life and just morph everything together so beautifully. But we just heard yesterday, it's too hard. I'm having trouble with Amy's program because it's too hard. Well, I mean, I don't know. In my 47 years walking this earth, nothing that has been worth it, whether I've stepped on stage, whether I started a business, whether I bought a house, it's always been hard. It's never been easy. Are you kidding me? So I think just having that mindset of it's too hard, that's just another excuse. That's another excuse that your mind is giving you to not reach your goals.
Yeah, and it's old. It's probably from their childhood. Like, they witnessed something, or they were told something, like maybe they didn't get a good grade on the spelling bee, and their mom or somebody just said, oh, well, it's just too hard for you. And then there was this idea about themselves that got created. Like, I'm a strong starter, but not a strong finisher, or I can't do hard things, or whatever that is, right? Yep. And what they're doing most likely is recreating situations in their lives, not just with your protocol, but with their relationships and with their work in the world and whatever it is, to prove themselves right? See, it is too hard. See, I can't. So there's some payoff there. And so here's our comfort zone. And in the comfort zone, it might feel easier, but it's just because that's what you're used to doing day in and day out. Now, everything you want, ladies, is right outside your comfort zone, including where Amy's protocols will take you and where my work will take you, right outside the comfort zone. But nothing you want is inside the comfort zone, or you would already have it.
You already have it.
Yeah, you'd already have it. It could feel, not always, but it may feel hard initially, but then it won't, because then that will become your new norm and that will become your new baseline. And again, it's like adrenal fatigue is a great example, or chronic fatigue is a great example. Like, you start to think that that's normal until you don't feel that way. And then you go, oh my gosh, I've been so tired for like 3 decades, but I didn't realize it. Because I thought that was normal, because that had become your norm, right? And so this is what I would say to that person who said that, and to everybody who's in this mindset. First of all, you've done nothing wrong and you haven't lost any time, okay? So everything that brought you to where you are today is perfect, because now you're ready to hear this part, which means that the healing that you'll get is now it will be more sustainable, because it won't be some magic band-aid or magic pill or short-term fix. Like, you're ready for this, right? Or you wouldn't be here. And so is it sometimes hard to make change? Is it sometimes hard to make change? Yes. And is it worth it? It's always worth it. So it doesn't always have to be hard, and it's always worth it. And so, big change demands big action. And whatever brought you to where you are today is not going to be what's demanded of you to get you to the next place. It's just not. And so baby steps still lead to the top. It doesn't have to be this total shift in one step. Like, transition. You can do this in transitions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And you said two things in there: the sustainable progress and quick fix. And I know, I tell people flat out, listen, if you're looking for a quick fix, if you're looking for a magic pill, you got to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
It's not here. It's not here. What I want to give you is sustainable health for the long term, not put Band-Aids on it. So I'm assuming that applies to the work that you do too.
Yep. I love it. And let me say this, and it can shift the trajectory of your life, right? And so buckling down and doing this work, like, you are your greatest return on investment. And, investing our energy, our focus, our time, our resources, our money, if it calls for that, we are our greatest return on investment. Because when we do this work on us, then all the buckets in our life, our health, and you can break that down: hormones, thyroids, weight, digestive issue, but in one bucket. So we'll put all that in health, your wealth, your love, like everything naturally organically goes to the next level when you focus on your personal development, because you're the common denominator. Mm-hmm. Right. And let me just add in here, I don't want to be soapboxing. I am not perfect. If anybody tells you that they're perfect and they have it all figured out, run for the hills. I don't care. I don't care if they're speaking to stadiums or they're on the New York Times bestseller book of all time or whatever. We are all in process. And so it's allowing yourself to be a student, stay the student, and keep applying what you're hearing, even this podcast. So our friends who are here, let's not let this be the best podcast episode you've ever heard. Let's breathe action into it, because then otherwise nothing happens, nothing shifts, and nothing changes, right? And so, there is always that next step that we get to take.
Yep. That's so beautiful. I often let people know that I'm imperfect. That's why I'll post a picture of me eating a big old donut, like, because we're not. And you're right. I'm so happy you said that, Kerry, because if you are looking at the, this guru and hormone guru and thyroid guru and nutrition guru and mindset guru, and you think that they got it all down pat, you are sorely mistaken. We are all on the path. We're still growing. We're still learning. I will be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So,
and there's that saying, and I honestly believe this, like, once we stop learning, we start dying, so, like, I will always be a student.
Yep.
And so let me also say this. So at one point I was rock bottom, that woman on the bathroom floor. Mm-hmm. And from rock bottom, I went to good. From good, I went to great. From great, I went to extraordinary. I keep working that piece, right? My life is extraordinary now, really extraordinary. And so there's something, I share this because there's something here for everybody. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, my life's already great, my health's great, my finances, yes, and. So instead of the conversation of, yeah, this is great, but my life, I love my life. So this conversation is the and conversation. I love my life. And what do I want to stretch into next, right? And that's, or I'm on rock bottom, and I'm ready to get one step up on the ladder. I'm ready to feel at least a little bit better, right? Mm-hmm. There's something here for everybody.
Absolutely. Very well said. And you created, I want you to talk about this because I am just I'm beyond excited about this event. You created the Believe event. This is your 6th year now?
This is our 6th annual. We've had thousands of women go through the Believe event. Yeah.
You need to tell people, because when you described it to me, I was just, I got chills. I literally got chills. So please tell the audience about this event.
Thanks. Yeah, I was sharing with Amy, like, even as the host of this event, the trainer at the event, I get so much from it. This is my all-time favorite event for women. And at this event, it's a 3-day event. It's coming up at the end of September. For the first time, it's easy. It cannot be any easier. We're doing it online this year. I'm coming into your living room. You don't have to pay for flights. You don't have to pay for hotels. And it is the event that can truly shift everything for you. We really help women let go of overwhelm and confusion on what they want in their lives. We really help women let go of self-sabotage, perfectionism, procrastination, holding themselves back. And we do it in a way that is really beautiful and really sacred and really fun. And we have like a fire ceremony, and we have strategies, the strategies and support there that I really haven't seen anyplace else. And what a lot of women have told me is there was life for them before Believe, and there was life for them after the Believe event. And a true awakening happens for the women who attend in regards to who they really are, who they get to be for themselves, who they get to be in the world, who they get to be for those that they love. And it's a good way to describe it is breathtaking. It's truly breathtaking at the transformations that happen in 3 short days that really can and do impact women's lives forever. And lifelong friendships I've seen be created at Believe, because we do work together that you don't normally do with people. And it's in a very safe and sacred space. And we've had women say, they've come in and they said, oh my gosh, I just shared stuff with you guys that I haven't shared with my husband that I've been married to for 30 years. And they're able to heal it, right? We've had women who have healed just, all across the spectrum, whether it's just how they feel about themselves, which isn't just it's a huge deal, feel about themselves, or even gone all the way to forgive really painful situations in their lives, right? And become free on the other side of that. Day 1 is all about helping the vision, like helping women let go of what's not working for them and get that really clear, excited vision for who they want to be in the world and what they want their lives to look like. Day 1 is so fun. And then day 2 is all about the how. So day 1 is nothing about how, it's just that vision. And then day 2, we take you into our strategies, our processes around the how, and we skill you up. So it's not just a vision board or an idea, but it's really like, okay, now I understand how I can do this. And it's not as hard as I thought to create this life that I want. And then on day 3, we give you the roadmap to make it happen and sustain it. So it's not just that short-term dream that you live, but really like this is your life. And it's beyond amazing. It's beyond amazing.
That's so exciting. Oh my goodness. I mean, you are changing lives in 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days. You know how many people spend years in therapy and
I
get
know.
nowhere?
That's true. We've actually had women say, oh my gosh, I got more from this than I got from 20 years of therapy.
Yeah.
And therapy is great. I've done therapy before. I have a lot of clients who are therapists, a lot. It reminds me of, it was Believe event 2018. So it was a few years ago, or I guess 2019. And I had somebody on stage and she had asked to come on stage and get coached. So you don't have to come on stage, people, don't worry. But she had asked to, and she was a therapist at Google and she had a private practice. And when she got off stage, and she's given me a testimonial about this, but when she got off stage, like, oh my God, she had such a clearing, and she got off within 2 days after the Believe event, she doubled her income. 2 days. And then she came in and she did work with us that year. And she, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. She started to work less. She made more. She was spending time with her young kids. There was laughter in her house again. her marriage improved, she lost weight, like all this stuff happened. And it happened, and she was really successful, really bright woman, and a leader and an influencer. And she came in and did this work, and like, boom, everything went to the next level for her. It was really inspiring. Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for this event. Seriously, I want it for myself, and then I want to see what it does to the lives of my patients, my listeners. You know, I want to hear the stories afterwards. So, oh my goodness, thank you so much for putting that on. I mean, it's so needed, and I've never heard of anything like it. So that's why we have you on today, just to get this message out there, because it is so needed.
Yeah, it is. And none of us escape it, right? And so this personal development work is the most important work, and it really does change everything. It puts you in the driver's seat of your own life.
It does. It does. And we're going to have the link so you guys can join the Believe event. We're going to have that in the show notes, along with all of Kerry's information, so you can get in contact with her if you're interested in any of her programs.
Yeah.
But Kerry, any last parting words for everyone?
What I would want to say to all of our friends here is, no matter what your current age, your current size, your current health situation, economic status, it doesn't matter, right? Like, if there's a dream in your heart, that dream is in your heart for a reason. And let's get you the right strategies in the right order and the right support and accountability, and we can shift this. Anything that's not working, we can shift. So just be the full body yes. Go grab your seat before they sell out. Go grab your seat, show up. Let's have some fun, and partner with me in this, because I'm going to give you my all. Just show up and play the game with me. That's what I would say.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I'll be there. So I'll see everybody there. And Kerry, thank you so much for your time once again. I mean, the information you shared, like, I cannot stress enough that if you don't have this component, if you don't have that mindset shift, then you're screwed. I mean, you're going to hold you back. So you need this.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much for having me, for trusting with your community, and partnering with me on, locking arms so we can stand for as many women as possible. So I really acknowledge you, and I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, Kerry, we will talk soon. Thank you once again.
Bye, everyone.